of the West, still reaching you live and direct from the heart of Africa. If this is your first time on this channel, you're highly welcome. This is a place where we separate the facts from the fiction, the science from the superstition, and the concept from the misconceptions about African spirituality. Today, I want to talk about a subject that have been requested by a subscriber, and this person would like to know the difference between voodoo and hoodoo. These are two different practices that are aspects of African spirituality, and a lot of people confuse them. So today I want us to flesh that out on this channel. As you know, this is a place where we really go deep into the inner workings and metrics of African spirituality. Yeah, I try as much as possible to dive deep into the subject, to try to dissect the topic of African spirituality as clearly as possible, and to also be pragmatic and to be very, very open about the subject so that we can be able to throw enough light as much as possible on the subject of African spirituality. So today, please, let's talk about the difference between voodoo practice and hoodoo practice. These are two practices, as we know that voodoo is one of the most popular African spiritual practice we have in Africa. And everybody in the world knows this. And it was made very, very popular in Haiti. And this was as a result of the uh, slave trade, this land, transatlantic slave trade that was carried out by the colonizers during the colonial era. A lot of black people were taken from their native lands in Africa, and they were taken to Latin America, taken to the American continent, and they took their indigenous spiritual practice with them. Most of these people were from West Africa, Central Africa, and they took their African voodoo practice to America, and this is why we have the Haitian Vodou. So the voodoo or the Haitian Vodou spiritual system is the same as what we have in West Africa, and it arrived in Haiti as a result of this interaction or the events of the transatlantic slave trade. So we can trace the origin of Haitian Vodou straight to the continent of Africa. The deities that we venerate in Africa and the deities of Haitian Vodou are exactly the same deity. What you will find out that when in some cases, when the people were taken and they arrive at the new place of abode, some of the practices were diluted, some were well preserved, some of the names of the deities were changed as over time as they were being carried on from generation to generation by words of mouth. Some things were changed and some things remain the same. So what you find out that there's been a lot of dilution in the original Haitian Vodou practice, and that dilution have led to the dissipation of some original or authentic aspects of the spiritual system. This is what have led to the development of what is now known as hoodoo, the hoodoo, Hoodoo. So we can clearly say that hoodoo is a very, very diluted version of voodoo. How do we know this? In voodoo practice, what you will discover is that it is a well-established religious traditional practice that is original to the African people. It's a complete spiritual system filled with their own pantheon of gods. They believe in a supreme being, and they believe in other lesser deities, the ones that we call the lowers. And these are the intermediary spirits between man or people and the divine. And these lowers are composed of celestial deities, or what you want to say, infernal deities, and also spirits of our ancestors, people that have passed away, African ancestors, our grandfathers, grandparents, grandmothers, brothers and sisters. The composition of these spirits, family of spirits, are known as the lowers. Okay. Now, in Haitian Vodou in Haiti, they have classified this into some gated spirits or radar spirits or different sort of names of family of spirits, with the aim to clarify the functions of this set of spirits. But in mainstream Africa, we that are in the continent here, sitting in Africa, we don't have that distinction. We only know that our ancestors, they are composed of different beings, and we all put them into that pantheon. So we kind of relate with them based on that ancestor stem. We don't really go into details. We still practice it the way it has been practiced for thousands of years and is still undiluted. We still make contact in that the same way. We don't try to really dissect the abodes of the ancestors in mainstream African spirituality that we find in the continent here. But it's basically the same thing. What we do is that we give offerings to the ancestral deities. We acknowledge them, and we try to work with them as closely as possible, and we try as much as possible to live in harmony with nature and at peace with our fellow men. That is it. So if you want to summarize African spirituality in one sentence, you want to ask, what are you people trying to do here? What do you people believe here? We try as much as possible to live in harmony with nature. That is still the same thing that they still practice to a larger extent in Haitian Vodou. But when it comes to Hoodoo, what you will know is that the Hoodoo practitioners, most of them are not really called Africans, or there may be Africans that have lost access to direct knowledge of the African spirituality. So what you will see in Hoodoo is just bits and pieces of spells or root works from different spiritual systems. Some might be from indigenous African spirituality. You will find spells from maybe Native American spiritual system. You will even find spells from Hindu, the Indian people's spiritual system. You will even find Christian and Catholic saints in Hoodoo. Hoodoo is where you're going to find Saint Expeditius. You're going to find different saints, Saint Ignatius, so many saints in the Catholic Church that Catholics pray to. You're going to find these saints in Hoodoo practice. These are spirits that are not native to Africa. They are not native to Africa. In real Voodoo practice, you are not going to find any spirit that is not part of the pantheon there. You're going to find only hardcore original African spirits in real Voodoo practice. Okay? You will not find any foreign body there. You will not find any foreign spirits there. You will not find any Catholic saints there. You will definitely not find any spirit that is not original to Africa in our authentic Voodoo practice. Okay? You only deal with full pantheon of African ancestors and African spirits. So that is one of the first major difference you're going to find between Voodoo and Hoodoo. In Hoodoo, you're going to find all kinds of funny spirits there from different races, different planes, different plants. It's all part of the Hoodoo practice there. Okay, so if you will ask me, I will say Voodoo is much more stronger or deeper or serious than Hoodoo. Voodoo is for people that understand what they are going into, that knows that they are here to deal directly with African spirits, and they are serious practitioners. Why mostly Hoodoo practitioners? They are dabblers. These are people that are just trying to experiment on the fringes of African spirituality. They just come in, try a few spells here and there, usually try to test it. They are not really committed to the path. They are not serious. They are not dedicated. We call these sort of people dabblers. People that we keep, they're just hanging around the door, knocking, but they don't want to go in. So we see these people a lot and we don't take them seriously. Most of these people, they are Christians. They keep going to church. They will be putting one leg in the church and then they will have another leg inside African spirituality. This is how they live their life, a kind of lukewarm attitude. So these people, most of the time, they think that they are practicing African spirituality. That is what they think in their mentality, that they practice African spirituality. But what they are practicing is what we call is hoodoo, because it is not deep and they don't even know what they are practicing. They are afraid to make direct contact with the spirits. This is why they are not fully committed. They are afraid. They're still living in the abode of fear. Many times I see them, they're still afraid. I saw one yesterday, came to me, want to be part of uh, my channel, want to be part of my group, and he's still going to church and doing the church thing. Even his profile is a picture of Jesus Christ. I just saw him. I know that this person is still afraid of going to hell. He's not fully committed and he don't want to be fully committed. So I just said, why are you wasting your time? You need to make your choice. You need to make it fast. This part is for people that are very, very serious and are fully dedicated. You cannot be dipping one leg here, using our spells. Then, when you get in breakthroughs, you will now go to church to be giving testimonies to Jesus Christ. This person have that kind of behavior, and I see them every day. So these people, they think that they are practicing voodoo. What they are practicing is hoodoo. Okay, that is the lighter version, the diluted version. Okay, the fruit juice of the whole African spirituality is not the hard liquor. So you will see these people a lot, and they are everywhere. Most white people, Western practitioners, white people that claim to be practicing African spirituality, they are actually voodoo practitioners. A lot of white people are voodoo practitioners. They are not voodoo practitioners. Many of them have been ensnared by false interpretation or false narrative of voodoo. They tend to see voodoo as an evil practice, as a very dark, demonic practice that is very destructive if you are not careful. This is not the way it is. I don't know the kind of people that are pushing that mindset, but I don't blame them. Over the years, African spirituality have been really, really demonized as something evil, dark, as sinister, as the worship of Satan, worship of the devil. And Hollywood have done a lot to promote this kind of mentality. The funny thing is that even African movies, especially Nigerian movies, all they do is to paint African spirituality in a very, very bad light. So what do you want people to think, or what do you want people to expect? I don't blame them. African spirituality have been cast as something very, very evil and demonic. So a lot of people are afraid of making direct contact with it. Also, too, a lot of people have tried to make contact. They are falling into the hands of these evil practitioners, into the hands of scammers, of evil babalawos that have taken them for huge amount of money. Have tried to squeeze them, to defraud them. I see this every day. So many fake spiritualists are out here ripping people off in the name of African spirituality. We see them every day on Facebook, on YouTube. So I don't really blame people for having a lukewarm attitude on the whole issue of African spirituality, especially voodoo practice. What you need to know about voodoo practice is that It is a very simple practice. It's a way of life. If you have a pure heart, I believe anybody can practice it from any race. And I believe that African spirituality is the mother and father of all spiritual system on this planet. Africans are the root race. I'm not saying this because I'm an African. It's a scientific fact. And we have a lot of things to offer the world, and we have offered a lot of things to the world. So if you want to practice any sort of real authentic spirituality, I believe your African spirituality is the very good place that you need to start from the source. You need to learn from the beginning. So those people that are here learning African spirituality, you are actually at the right place doing it, the authentic spiritual practice. Part of the reason this channel was opened was to clarify so many superstitious beliefs or many misconceptions about African spirituality. So that is why I am here today, because there's a lot of misconceptions about this subject. Okay, so voodoo is not an evil practice. Okay, in voodoo we deal with nature, we venerate nature deities, and we try to live in harmony with nature. And there are different practice of African spirituality. There are different specializations. That is what you need to know. We have different spiritualists that have different areas of specialization. Some people are specialized in root work. They know how to mix herbs, how to use it to treat people. Some people are specialized in divination. They know how to make contact with the elements, with the deities, how to see into the future. That is another specialty. Some people are also good with working with the spirits of the dead, trying to make contact with the dead, trying to go through realms and try to treat the affairs of the dead. That's another department on its own. We have people that are very good in the aspect of relationships, doing love spells, bringing people together, marriage and family, bringing peace and harmony to family. They spiritualists that are very good in that aspect of spirituality. We have spiritualists that are good in the aspect of destruction, doing death spells, destruction spells, spells, black magic, different areas of specialization. So every spiritualist you see or Babalawo, they have their area of specialization. Just like the same way you go to a university, you will see in medicine, you will see a nurse that is or a doctor that is specialized in ENT, ear, nose, and throat. Some we say they are surgeons. Some we say they are specialized in skincare. Some we say their own specialization is for spinal cord and bone structure. Some we say their own specialization is to give birth. We have different areas of specialization in African spirituality. So every person, if every practitioner have their own gifts, their own area of specialization. Okay, so you need to know this. It is very, very hard or rare that you see a practitioner that's the master of all the various aspects of African spirituality. It's very, very rare for you to meet those kind of people. Every practitioner have their field, their place that they excel out. So when you want to practice, you need to find out which particular specialization that this very native doctor or babalawo is good at. So if you see his area of specialization, if that is what you want to learn or practice, you go to meet those kind of people. Okay, so every spiritualist have their area of specialization. Okay, many people don't know this. So you need to know your kind of practice. Do you want to practice voodoo or do you want to practice hoodoo? Which one do you want to practice? If you want to go deep, you want to know authentic African spirituality, you want to be fully committed to the path, then voodoo is for you. But if you don't want to be fully committed, you don't want to make contact directly with any spirit, then you can continue to practice your hoodoo. You do one or two spells here and there. You go and live your normal life. You go to your church or your mosque or just play with your affairs like that. It is also a way of life. People live anyhow they want to live. So it's not everybody that is supposed to practice African spirituality. I keep saying this that variety is the spice of life. If everybody is a Christian, the whole world will be a boring place. If everybody is a Muslim, the whole world will be a boring place. If everybody practice African spirituality, it will become so boring and cumbersome. So there is need for variety. There is need for different people to practice different things. There is need for different paths. That is why the world is a very interesting place. You have Chinese people, you have Japanese people, you have Korean people, you have African people, Native American people. We have people from different tribes, different viewpoints, all coming together. That is why we are here. So African spirituality is not for everybody. You cannot force everybody to see the world your own way. You just practice what you believe in as long as it works for you, then you are fine. So for people that are thinking of practicing this, this is not a place that you don't force people to practice. So what I do is that I only look for serious people. Some people come to me, they say they want to practice, they have been watching the channel, they are interested. And if I look at this person, I see that they just want to waste my time. They are not serious. Normally, I push them away because I don't like people to waste my time. But if I see that they are really, really serious, I draw them to me and I give them the materials or tools that they will need, or I point them in the right direction so that they can be able to continue their journey. So that is the way I do my own practice. I don't force people, I don't force my belief on people. I just talk about these subjects and try to make contact with other practitioners so that we can be able to understand this subject because it's very deep. In this subject, we talk about root work, we talk about space and time travel, we talk about plasma physics, we talk about the most advanced level of technology in African spirituality. Everything is here. So it's really, really a broad topic and it's a very, very interesting topic. So there's a lot of things to discuss here. So for the Hoodoo practitioners, Hoodoo and Voodoo is not the same thing, okay? Hoodoo is the lighter version or the weaker version of Voodoo. So we should know this and we should understand this. So we know what we are practicing. So when we see people, we can easily know what they are practicing. We can differentiate between Hoodoo practitioners and Voodoo practitioners, okay? So this is my 2 cents on these subjects. I hope I have been able to clear this topic up with my simple explanation. You can like and share this video, subscribe to my channel. Questions and comments are always very, very welcome. Donations are welcome. Try to support my channel so that we can grow, so I can spread this knowledge to as much people as possible. Then if you are also interested in learning African spirituality, my website is there, www.kindoki.net. Register on my website. I have also written a book about this subject, about the interrelationship between African spirituality and quantum physics. I have that book for sale on my channel. And try to register so that you can start practicing from the comfort of your home and get the knowledge and the empowerment that you need. So this is what I have for you today. And I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take care and bye. Peace.